Okay, let's dive right in.
Yeah.
Ever think about how, in a real scuffle, all those flashy movie strikes might just disappear?
Oh, absolutely. It's a really common feeling, that sense of being overwhelmed.
Right. And here's something interesting. A huge chunk of successful self-defense situations, and definitely MMA fights, they end up grappling on the ground.
Yeah, it's fascinating. The highlight reels love the knockouts, sure, but the actual ability to control where the fight goes,
Hmm.
especially on the ground, that's often the deciding factor.
Exactly. And that's what we're unpacking today. We're doing a deep dive into standing self-defense, but specifically looking at it through a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu lens.
hmm
Our main source is the ebook, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Basics, by Jean Arana Simco. Heard good things.
Oh, it's a fantastic resource. And it's pulled from his bigger work, the Master Text, which honestly gets praise from all corners of the martial arts world. Very clear, very thorough.
Good stuff. Now look, maybe you're a seasoned grappler listening, or maybe your main martial art is dodging emails. Doesn't matter.
Right.
This deep dive is for everyone. We're not getting lost in, a million different moves.
Nope. Keep it focused.
Our mission today is really specific. Pull out the key BJJ ideas and practical standing techniques from this ebook. We want you to leave with a solid grasp of how a BJJ person thinks about staying safe on their feet.
Think of it like getting the core logic, the why behind BJJ's standing game, quick and clear.
Right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So BJJ, most people immediately think groundwork,
Right.
guard passes, submissions, all that jazz.
That's the stereotype for sure.
So why are I spending time talking about standing techniques? It seems a bit counterintuitive for BJJ.
That's a great question, and it's fundamental because while BJJ is, yes, dominant on the ground, nearly every single real fight starts standing up.
True.
So for self-defense especially, a big goal of BJJ standing stuff is often just to get the fight safely to the ground, where the BJJ practitioner usually has the edge.
Ah, okay. It's about picking your battlefield, fighting where you're strongest.
Exactly that, controlling the environment.
Got it. Now, the ebook mentions keidas. What's that about?
Takedowns. It's Portuguese. Basically means takedowns or throws.
Okay.
And in BJJ, like the book points out, it's not just about muscling someone down, it's physics, really. Balance, timing, leverage.
So using their own weight and movement.
Precisely. Using their momentum, gravity, making it efficient. It's not supposed to be a pure strength contest.
Interesting. So it's more about technique than just being the bigger person.
Much more. It's about understanding body mechanics, how to destabilize someone. And a really key concept for setting up these keidas, these takedowns, is getting to the clinch.
The clinch. Which,
Yeah, the ebook even quotes BJJ champ saying, if you have the clinch, you have good jiu-jitsu. That tells you how important it is.
Wow, okay. I know the clinch from boxing, like tying someone up. What does it mean here in BJJ self-defense?
It's similar in that it's close quarters, both people holding on while standing, but the big thing in BJJ is how it neutralizes striking.
Ah, limits their ability to punch hard.
Exactly. If you're chest to chest, tightly clinched, it's really hard for them to generate power. It's like hitting pause on their big strikes. Gives you safety, control, and the chance to dictate what happens next.
Like fighting in a phone booth, basically. Reduces the space for those wild swings.
Perfect analogy. And from there, from that safer spot, the BJJ person can work for the takedown. The clinch is the bridge. Standing phase to ground phase.
Makes sense. So how do you actually get there? To that clinch. The book mentions a couple ways. First one, progressive indirect attack. Sounds fancy.
It does sound a bit strategic, yeah. But the idea is pretty clever. So someone's in front of you, maybe aggressive, you throw a high strike.
Okay.
But here's the thing. You're not necessarily trying to land it hard. The main goal is to make them react. Make them bring their hands up to defend their head.
Ah, like a feint or a distraction.
Exactly. Because when their hands come up, what opens up?
Their body, waist area.
Bingo. An opening around the waist. And the book stresses, as you throw that high distraction strike, you control their lead hand with your other hand.
Right. Why control the hand?
Stops them from just punching you back with that hand as you're moving in. You're shutting down one weapon while creating your opening.
Smart. Okay, so hands are up, waist is open, you've got their lead hand. Then what?
Then you close that distance quickly, keep control of that arm, and aim to get your head right onto their chest. Your other arm wraps tight around their waist. The key is sticking to them. Don't let them create space again to start striking. Get in, get tight, control.
Okay, clear picture.
Yeah.
Method 2 is baiting. This one sounds riskier, like you're asking for trouble.
It can seem that way, yeah. But it's calculated. You stand with your feet kind of close, but lean back just a bit. Just enough so your head's slightly out of easy punching range.
Okay.
And here's the bait. You lower your hands, make it look like your head is just wide open.
Oh, wow. You're basically saying, hit me here.
Pretty much. But the book points out two safety nets.
Yeah.
One, your head is actually a bit further back than it looks. And two, crucially, you're expecting that punch to the head.
Right, you're anticipating it.
Yeah, exactly. So when they take the bait and throw it, you lean forward into the punch, bringing your hands up simultaneously to protect yourself from that shot or anything else.
So lowered hands are just a trigger.
Correct. A trigger for a reaction you're ready for. As you move in, one hand grabs onto them, maybe their arm, their body stops them backing up. The other controls one of their arms. And again, what's the goal?
Head on the chest, get tight.
Head on the chest, fast. Shield your face, establish that clinch. Same endpoint as the other method.
Got it. So two paths to the same safe place, the clinch. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're there, chest to chest. Now what?
Yeah.
Can't just hug them forever. The book talks about takedowns from here, right? Like a basic double leg.
Exactly. Once you've got that solid clinch, the double leg starts, as the book describes, by dropping to one knee. But keep your chest glued to their leg. Minimizes space for them to knee you or sprawl effectively.
Okay, drop to one knee. Stay close.
Then, wrap both arms around their legs, right at the knee level. Clasp your hands together behind the knees. Get a tight grip.
Focusing on the knees, immobilizing the base.
You got it. And then you squeeze your arms together. This narrows their stance, makes them way less stable.
Ah, pulls their feet closer.
Right. Then comes the drive. You drive your head forward like you're trying to push through them while you push hard off your back foot. And at the same time, you pull their legs towards you.
Push with the head, pull with the arms, drive with the leg. Lots going on.
It's a coordinated effort. That combination breaks their balance, makes them fall backwards.
But just getting them down isn't enough, is it? Control is key.
Always. As they're falling, keep hugging those legs tight. Keep them squeezed. And you want to immediately start moving your body around to their side.
Why to the side?
So you land in a controlling position, like side control, stops them from immediately scrambling back up or getting their guard back. You control the landing.
Okay, that's a solid option from the clinch. But what if you're not in the clinch yet and bam, someone throws a punch? The book mentions a defense called O Goshi, a hip throw. Sounds like judo.
It is, yeah. Classic judo hip throw, very applicable. So opponent throws a close-range punch. First thing, raise your hand on the same side as the punch, bring it up towards your ear, protects that whole side of your head.
Okay, block side.
Simultaneously, your other hand reaches out and grabs their punching hand or wrist, block and grab, basically.
Got it. Block and grab.
Then, subtly, push their captured hand down just a little bit. Creates a tiny bit of space, an opening for you to enter. Your other arm then wraps over their other arm, the non-punching one.
Okay, push down slightly, wrap the other arm over.
Now, the turn. You pivot your body so you're facing the same direction they are, and crucially, keep your hips lower than theirs. That height difference is what lets you...
Use your hip like a lever.
Exactly. Lets you bump them effectively with your hip, throws off their balance. Your arm that went under theirs now secures around their back. The other arm pulls their remaining arm towards your waist.
So you've got them wrapped up, off balance. How's the throw work?
You pull down and sideways with the arm you're holding at your waist. At the same moment, you twist your hips the other way. Like if it was a right punch, you twist counterclockwise. That hip action, combined with the pull, flips them right over your hip. O Goshi, major hip throw. Uses your core.
And after they land, can't just admire your throw in a real situation.
Definitely not. Control, control, control. The book stresses immediately moving to a dominant ground position. The example given is knee on belly. Puts pressure, gives you options.
Okay, hip throw for punches. What about kicks? Those seem scarier, more range. What's the basic defense there?
Number one rule, cannot stress this enough. Keep both hands up by your face. Protect your head.
Don't drop them to block the kick.
Exactly. The book warns against that instinct. A smart striker sees your hands drop, they might just fake the low kick and kick you high instead. Or they might be setting up a Congo kick low, you drop hands, they punch your head.
Makes sense. Keep the guard up. So how do you block the low kick?
With your leg. Lift your knee on the same side as the kick, get it above your waistline, point your toes down.
Lift the knee, toes down.
Right. And your back leg stays slightly bent for balance, absorbs some impact. While you do this, keep that other hand up, protecting your face. Then your hand on the kicking side reaches down and grabs their ankle as your knee checks the kick.
So you block and catch the leg. Active defense.
Exactly. You're not just stopping it, you're controlling it. Once you've got that ankle, step forward with your blocking leg and hook your other leg behind their standing leg. Get relatively close.
Okay, step in, hook the standing leg, setting up another takedown.
Yep. This one's called O Gari Major Inner Reap, another judo classic.
Sounds like it tricks them up pretty good.
Oh, yeah. To do it, use your free arm to push their chest, or the book says even their face for more impact forward. Throws their balance off even more.
Push the upper body forward.
While you pull hard on that ankle you're holding, and simultaneously use your hooked leg to kick back behind their knee, like you're sweeping their standing leg out from under them.
Push, pull, sweep.
Right. The book even adds that adding a little counterclockwise twist with your upper body adds more power to the takedown.
And after they're down from the O Gari.
Well, you're often still holding that leg. So the book mentions options like moving to pass their guard, maybe trying an ankle lock on the leg you have, or just establishing a top position and striking. Standard BJJ follow-ups, really.
Okay, let's shift to grabs. Throat grab, lapel grab. Feels really direct, really aggressive. How do you handle that?
The book points out a very direct first option. Just hit them in the face.
Simple and effective.
Often, yeah? If their arms are out grabbing you, their face is usually open. A good shot can make them let go instinctively to protect themselves.
Makes sense, but there's a more jiu-jitsu specific technique too, right? The author thought it was pretty unique.
Yes, a more technical escape. You start by using your opposite hand to grab and control their grabbing hand. Hold on to that.
Control the grabber. Okay.
Then your other arm reaches over their other arm, the one that's not grabbing you. Point your hand down, aiming for the space between their arms.
So you're kind of threading your arm through.
Exactly. Then step forward slightly with the leg on the same side as that threading arm. As you step, push that hand through the gap, passing your body towards their opposite side. While you do this, duck your head under their armpit on that same side, all while keeping that first grip on their grabbing hand. That control is vital.
Okay, that sounds complicated. You end up sort of tangled under their arm.
It feels weird at first, maybe. But the book explains, if you do it right, their wrist, the one you first grabbed, starts getting twisted pretty painfully if they try to maintain their grip on your clothes.
Built-in pain compliance.
Right. Then you keep stepping through, counterclockwise, basically turning your back towards them until you're behind them. Now, if they let go with their other hand, don't let them re-grip. Grab that hand, too. Switch your grip to a knife-edge grip, palm over the top, fingers gripping the pinky side.
Sounds like you're setting up a nasty wrist lock.
That's exactly what it is. You push their elbow down and forward. That combined pressure on the wrist, often enough for a submission right there. You can finish by stepping further behind them, pushing the elbow down more while pulling their hand up. Puts pressure on the wrist and shoulder.
Wow, okay. Very intricate. Let's talk rear chokes.
Yeah.
Big fear for a lot of people. The book has 2 variations for defense. Let's start with the first one.
Right. So if someone gets an arm around your neck from behind, immediate reaction, bend your knees, get your hips slightly off to one side.
Get offline a bit.
Yeah. And the hand on that same side reaches back, grabs their sleeve right at the shoulder, pull down hard. Your other hand comes up and grabs their wrist on the choking arm. Cue points of control, pulling down.
Trying to create space, relieve pressure.
Exactly. Next, drop your hips lower than theirs. Squat down more. Keep pulling down on their arm the whole time so the choke doesn't tighten as you drop.
Hips low. Keep pulling.
Once you're lower, you use your legs. Straighten your legs, lean forward a bit, and lift their weight onto your hips. Keep pulling down on that arm.
Feels like you're loading them up for a throw.
You are. It sets up the serenage, the shoulder throw. You yank their arm down and towards your side, guiding their momentum. At the same time, twist your hips slightly in that same direction. Rolls them right over your shoulder onto their back.
Nice. And then control the arm after they land.
Always. Maintain that grip for follow-ups or just to stop them recovering.
Okay, so what's different about variation 2? What makes you use that one instead?
This one's for when the attacker does something specific. They use their foot to push against the back of your leg.
They brace against you.
Yeah, it stops you leaning forward properly for that shoulder throw we just talked about.
Okay, so the throw's blocked. What now?
The start is the same. Got to pull down on that choking arm. But since you can't throw forward, you pull their elbow in towards your chest. And you start turning your body towards that side. As you turn, lean forward, and grab their wrists securely with your other hand. Try to angle their arm to put pressure on their shoulder joint.
So the block forces a switch from a throw to targeting the shoulder.
Exactly. The book even says sometimes against someone less experienced, just that shoulder pressure might make them tap or fall off balance.
But there's a takedown here, too.
Oh, yeah. You use their imbalance, hook your leg behind their leg, make sure your center line passes theirs as you do this, keep leaning forward so they can't counter easily.
Hook the leg, lean forward.
Then you use the Osoto Gari major outer reap. Kick your hooked leg up and back forcefully, sweeping their leg out. While you do that, drive your shoulder into theirs. Keep that shoulder pressure on.
Leg reap plus shoulder drive.
Yep. Takes them down. And again, keep control of that arm after they hit the ground. Control is everything.
Bear hugs from behind.
Mm-hmm.
Another classic scary scenario. How do you break that grip according to the book?
First priority, break the grip. And the book suggests something kind of cool. Take a massive deep breath, fill your lungs, expand your chest and diaphragm as much as possible.
Expand. Wouldn't you want to shrink?
Seems counterintuitive, right? But that expansion forces them to widen their grip just to hold on. Creates a little bit of space. Ah, okay. Clever. Then what?
Then sharp exhale. Jeek. Shrink down. Simultaneously squat low, drop your center of gravity, and explode your arms outwards while driving your hips back into theirs. All at once. Speed, force. Should pop the grip.
Okay, pop the grip, freedom. But now what?
Instantly control both their hands or wrists. Super important. Stops them grabbing you again, choking, punching.
Control the hands. Got it.
Then step to the side, lead with your hips, then step behind them with your other leg. Keep controlling at least one arm so they can't easily grab your head or turn back into you.
Maneuver behind them while controlling an arm.
Yep. Now slight squat and bump your leg into their backside. Kind of knocks them off balance, like creating a little chair for them, as the Bic puts it.
Oh, balance them.
Once they're unstable, you can let go of the arms briefly and grab both their legs. Then pull their legs up, back, and a bit to your side. It's called a dump takedown. Basically lift and turn them until they go down, maybe onto their head or back. Oof. Sounds effective. Last one, headlocks. Standing headlock escapes. Feels suffocating just thinking about it. What's the play?
First thing, absolutely critical, grab their wrist. The hand on the same side as the arm around your head grabs their wrist immediately.
Why the wrist first?
Stops them tightening the choke, stops them sliding the arm deeper for a better choke, and maybe stops punches from that arm too. Control the immediate threat.
Okay. Control the choking arm's rest. Next.
Keep pulling that wrist. Now, reach your other arm as far over their shoulder as you can. Then, push. Forward, down, and out at an angle. Use the bony ridge of your hand, the pinky side, right against the side of their face, jawline, temple area.
Pressure on the face.
And at the same time, posture up. Look up. Helps relieve the pressure on your neck, create space.
Okay, pressure on face, look up.
Exactly. Now, as you're doing that, rotate the wrist of the hand that's pushing their face so your palm turns downwards. This little twist adds a surprising amount of power, mechanical advantage to turn their head.
Wrist twist for more power.
Yep. Use that twisting pressure to spin them around so they end up facing you.
Whoa, okay. Complete reversal. Now they're facing you.
Right. Now, quick transition. Secure your forearm, the thumb side, right under their chin, against their throat. Squeeze that arm tight around their neck, trapping their head under your armpit.
Forearm under chin, trap the head.
Then, place your other hand on their far shoulder momentarily for stability. Then bring that hand down and place your palm right on top of your own choking wrist.
Palm on wrist.
Yeah.
Setting up a choke.
Exactly. To finish it, do like a reverse motorcycle rev with the hand on your wrist. Lift your wrist slightly. This dramatically tightens the forearm pressure on their windpipe. Squeeze the arm tighter, arch your body up and back. That's usually enough for a submission.
Man, that's a lot of detail. Incredibly useful stuff on standing BJJ defense from the ebook. But then it shifts gears a bit, talks about Vale Tudo, insights for standing. Remind us what Vale Tudo is.
Sure. Vale Tudo Portuguese means anything goes. It's an older, less restricted style of fighting, kind of a precursor to modern MMA. So this section looks at the BJJ principles we just discussed, but specifically considers how they work when strikes are always part of the equation.
Okay, so how does that change things, like the baiting punches idea?
It reinforces it, actually. Dropping hands to bait a punch works, but the Vale Tudo angle adds nuance. It's often best for drawing out the rear hand punch, which is usually slower, more telegraphed.
Easier to see coming?
Right. Easier to slip, parry the arm, and then shoot in for that clinch. And it really hammers home. Once you get the clinch in a Vale Tudo context, hold on tight. Keep that back connection strong. Any space you give them is space they can use to strike.
Makes sense. Strikes change the dynamic. What about using strikes yourself to get the clinch?
Definitely. The book talks about how just throwing punches, even if they don't land clean, forces your opponent's hands up defensively.
Creates that opening again.
Creates the opening to shoot in. Key is keeping your hands up while you punch high and move forward to mess up their footing. It also mentions using kicks, like a front kick or push kick, not just to hurt them, but as a way to close distance safely, like an offensive step that keeps them back while you move in.
Using offense for defense, or at least for positioning. What about defending strikes while you're trying to get a takedown? That seems vulnerable.
Hugely vulnerable, according to the Vale Tudo section. Just dropping your head and shooting for the legs. That's asking for a knee or an uppercut. A striker sees that coming.
So you need to protect yourself even on the way in.
Absolutely. Keep those hands up. Integrate your striking defense with your takedown attempt. Don't just become a target.
The clinch really does sound like the safer space against a striker then.
It generally is. Head on the chest minimizes their striking power. The book mentions stepping to the side in the clinch to avoid knees to the body or groin, and it talks about pummeling.
Pummel up.
Yeah, like swimming your arms inside theirs, constantly fighting for that underhook position, trying to get deeper, tighter, especially against someone bigger. It helps neutralize size and reach.
But what about when the clinch breaks? Seems like a dangerous moment.
Very dangerous. The book gives an example. Opponent breaks the clinch but keeps control of your head, maybe pulls it down, while creating just enough space to land a hard elbow. Shows how risky creating space can be against a striker.
Yikes. Okay. Any other specific Vale Tudo takedown insights that build on the BJJ stuff?
Yeah, a few interesting ones. Takedown from the back, clinch harder to choke without a give, right? So it's just getting a leg behind theirs and basically using your weight to pull them down like a human belt. Land to the side, stay stable.
Okay.
For the bear hug defense, after breaking the grip, the Vale Tudo version emphasizes immediately stepping behind, grabbing both legs, posturing up while lifting their legs to take them straight back.
More direct takedown after the escape.
Right. Headlock escapes in Vale Tudo also stress immediate arm control after escaping to prevent follow-up strikes, maybe flowing right into a takedown. And it mentions using a wall, driving someone into a wall, limits their punching power, forces them defensive, and sets up takedowns against the wall where they can't sprawl as easily.
Losing the environment.
Exactly. And it even shows a counter to a takedown from the clinch. Opponent controls your head, sidesteps, pulls your head down while hooking your arm, and knees you in the face. Shows the constant back and forth when strikes are involved.
Wow, that's a ton of info, but seeing the Vale Tudo perspective really adds another layer. Okay, let's try to synthesize this. For the listener, what are the absolute core ideas, the main takeaways from this whole deep dive on BJJ standing defense?
I'd say number one is the clinch. Understand its importance for neutralizing strikes and bridging to the ground. Number two, know there are strategic ways to get to that clinch, like the indirect attack or baiting.
With the entry methods.
Then, the basic takedown mechanics, like the double leg from the clinch, rely on leverage and position, not just strength. Also, the core defenses against punches, like the O Goshi, against kicks, using your leg, keeping hands up, and against common grabs, throat, rear choke, bear hug, headlock, focusing on control, leverage, and creating space or angles.
And the Vale Tudo stuff adds that layer of constantly accounting for strikes.
Exactly. It shows how BJJ principles adapt and apply even when things get messier, when strikes are flying. It reinforces the need for control, tight positions, and being aware of vulnerabilities.
So even if someone listening isn't planning to sign up for BJJ classes tomorrow, why is this stuff still valuable?
Because understanding these principles gives you a mental framework. It gives you practical options beyond just freezing or flailing. Managing distance, reducing threats, maybe getting to a safer position, even knowing the basic concepts can make a difference. Hopefully people had some aha moments about leverage, about how position beats power sometimes.
Yeah, those little details about hip position or hand control can be eye-opening. So as you go about your day, maybe think about these ideas. Which techniques felt most intuitive or useful to you? And hey, if this sparks something, maybe exploring BJJ further is worth considering. It's a deep art.
Definitely. Which brings us to maybe a final thought to chew on. BJJ puts so much emphasis on getting the fight to the ground, right? So how important really are those first few seconds on your feet? How critical is mastering that initial standing phase to control where the fight ultimately goes?